Well, well, well. If it isn't you again. We're live, I think. Unless I don't know how long it takes for YouTube to actually go live. It says I went live like 15 seconds ago, but we'll see how much of this gets cut off. Welcome to the live stream. I am Rob. Hit subscribe, please. Or am I subscribe and please Rob? I always get those two confused. Well, either way, I'm subscribe, please Rob. And hit that notification bell. I go live every weekday. If you saw from the title card, why do they call them thumbnails? Does that have something to do with when you're screening? You're flicking by it with your thumbnail? Where did we get some of the language for the technology nowadays is just bananas. We're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Was Wolverine always Canadian? It's weird they got an Australian to play a Canadian in this American movie. What's up to everybody joining? Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and jump up in the chat. We're going to talk about, I don't know if you've seen the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. I don't want to say spoilers, but we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the trailer. And there is one spoiler that I'm going to show you. It's not too much of a spoiler. Again, hopefully you've seen, I think like a trillion people watched the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. And I don't want to spoil, I hate being the guy that spoils stuff. Ever since early in my radio career, I did this bit called Star Wars Spoilers, and people were camping out in 2005 for one of the movies. And I had printed up a thing of spoilers and was live on the radio and went down to the encampments and read the spoilers out on a megaphone. And people attacked me. I had to leave. I had to frantically leave. One guy took his thing out and tried to go number one on me. So ever since then, I had just a deep respect for the spoiler art. So hopefully you've seen the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. If not, to catch up to speed, there's some stuff in it that I found a little suspect. For one, if you don't know, don't watch this trailer at work. It has 6 F-bombs. 6. I think Hugh Jackman says them all. I should have counted how many Hugh says. I think Deadpool's got, Ryan Reynolds at least got 1 F-bomb. But in the Deadpool Wolverine trailer, they drop 6 F-bombs in 3 minutes. That's an F-bomb every 30 seconds. I think it set a record. That's not a joke. I think they really are. Hold on. It might even say it in the article that it set a record for F-bombs, or at least for a Disney movie. Remember, this is a Disney movie. Disney owns Marvel. And I think they got the rights to all this stuff, right? Yeah, so this is a Disney flick. And the big hubbub when Disney purchased Marvel and got the rights to Deadpool or whatever is, were they going to still be able to keep it Deadpool? Were they going to taper it down? Was the MCU going to make it a PG-13 flick? Which, by the way, if you don't know, the PG-13 versions are allowed 1 F-bomb. So that's kind of weird. Think about kids today, really 1 F-bomb in an hour and a half. You'd figure PG-13 would allow like 13 F-bombs, just to keep it on par with the numbers. I don't know, you let me know in the comments. I get kids close to 13. I feel like they could handle more than 1 F-bomb in an hour. So I don't know if those ratings ever get updated. Do the movie ratings go through some kind of review? Where like, after a certain amount of time, we're like, us as a people have evolved and maybe PG-13 can be allowed 3 F-bombs. But no, 1 F-bomb. So people were scared. Is Disney going to allow Deadpool to be rated R? And if you had any of those fears, you thought they were going to taper things down or try to simmer it down, let me let you know. That trailer, it felt like too much, even for Deadpool. I love Ryan Reynolds. Hugh Jackman is a good guy. But watching him say an F-bomb every 30 seconds, I was like, all right, we get it. We get it. You're pushing the envelope. We get it. You can say the F word. Thank you very much. Let's pray the movie isn't like that. Let's pray there's a little more content than just, hey, we can say the F word, which is really what that trailer felt like. But there were some other things, and we're going to talk about that. There was a bomb dropped. Not literally, but, in that trailer. You probably caught it. If you didn't, I caught it. Freeze frame it. If you watch on YouTube, you can go and switch your settings. You can watch it in like quarter speed. or third speed and listen to him say the F-bomb really, really slowly, maybe I'll do that again. In fact, if you're a YouTuber and you want to know a little secret, I hate when people do cool stuff in their editing and don't share it. This isn't cool. It's just a trick I've learned to try and beat the AI bots that censor everything. If you're doing, because I love doing like or I love to do more movie reviews. If you speed it up, if you have a video editing app and you speed it up by 1.03, it doesn't really lose the voice quality, and it's enough to outdo the copyright things. I think that's just sharing info, right? I don't get in trouble for that. I'm not getting in trouble for that, right? So if you're into trying to play something that might be copyrighted, but you're obviously, the integrity of your content is new, and I forget the fair use terms. Like it's a completely brand new, revolutionized video. Speed it up a little bit. You speed it up by like 1.03 times, and you put a little filter over it, and you should be good. All right. That's allegedly what I've heard. So Deadpool Wolverine 3, or Deadpool Wolverine, they call it Deadpool 3. It's got an F-bomb every 30 seconds, right? The other thing that was dropped, and I'm going to get to the final spoil. I'm going to do one, not really a spoiler, but it was in the trailer, so it ain't a spoiler. Don't worry. That we're just going to discuss. But then there was a spoiler that leaked from somebody on Twitter. So if you're not on that dumpster fire of a social media space, Twitter, and you haven't been scrolling through the news, because I think Reddit is down right now. Is anybody able to get on Reddit? Shout out in the chat. I haven't been able to get on all day. So a little concerning. Didn't Reddit just like lay off a bunch of people or not pay their monitor? It's amazing when you lay people off and the company doesn't work anymore. I think that was Spotify. Sorry. Daniel Elk took like $1 jillion in salary and then just laid off 1,500 people and said, oh, it's amazing our service isn't working as well. Really? When the people who do the job aren't there? No wonder why you get paid the big bucks. So, I will show you, because I have here on my tablet, as they say in La France, a image from a Japanese bust that shows a unseen costume for Wolverine, which I think anybody who is a fan of Wolverine in the 90s has been waiting for this. You've been waiting for it. It felt good. Listen, I ain't like the biggest X-Men superhero enthusiast. I didn't read the graphic novels, but I loved the cartoon as a kid, and it was cool to see this coming to life in a movie, at least. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Ryan Reynolds is fascinating too. I'm old enough to remember when Ryan Reynolds basically came to stardom in National Lampoon's Van Wilder, which I think that was 2002. I was in college. I was in college when Ryan Reynolds was playing make-believe acting. He was in college. What do you know? And maybe I'm weird for thinking this, but I've always felt like Ryan Reynolds' movie career could just be his life story all in one, right? Hear me out. Hear me out for a second. Now, I'm not going to put his IMDb in the description. I did link both articles, one with the spoiler image from Japan, the model bust from Japan that was put on Twitter. I put that article down there, and I also put the article just talking about the movie, talking about how fans are going to be thrilled, what they had to go through with the strikes, and a couple other things, some tidbits for you. One of the things I'll talk about in a second once I discuss Ryan Reynolds' career and my opinion on it, which is basically a fact. But I'm not going to link his IMDb in the description. Just trust me and hear me out on this. By the way, hit subscribe. You're not going to hear stuff like this anywhere else, okay? Nowhere else. Danny Gonzalez, Mr. Beast, well, he's surviving alone on an island for 7 days, even though he's a cajillionaire. I'm giving you these insights that you can go share at the water cooler. So hit that subscribe, like, can't do this without you. And once I can start making, well, I'm praying to God to monetize this channel so I could do this on a computer and I could just bring these images. I could just bring IMDb up on the screen for you. But hear me out. 2002. Hold on, let me go back to his IMDb. He breakout role, Van Wilder, right? If you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. I fell in love with Ryan during Van Wilder. Sarcastic, funny, charming college kid who just milks his way through it, love story, yada, yada, yada. Right? Where am I? Where am I? I gotta get back so I can do this in order. Because I'm telling you, Ryan Reynolds, IMDb, or his movie career, I think could just be like his life story. You could sew this into his life story. So he goes to college and eventually graduates in Van Wilder. He gets out of college, right? What do you do when you get out of college? You find a job. The movie Waiting. So we see Van Wilder get out of college, find a job, and he does the role Waiting. After that, what do you do after you get out of college? You get a job. Then he's in the movie Proposal with Sandra Bullock, where they fake a marriage, right? Another good flick. Ryan Reynolds really don't do bad flicks. After that, he has something happen in his life, and he becomes a superhero. Nope, not the one you're thinking. He doesn't become Deadpool first. Most of you might be too young to remember. He was the Green Lantern. How does that happen? I don't know. But obviously it didn't work out. Let's just pretend the Green Lantern was killed off, because we obviously haven't heard from him in, hold on, let me see when they put out Green Lantern. 2000, so in 13 years. Wow, there's a few Green Lanterns? Oof, rough. But then after the Green Lantern, we find him making his way as the superhero we've all come to know and love, Deadpool. So I feel like this is just kind of his life story, right? You see it through, a lot of people play the role of themselves. They're called character actors, where they just play that one role, and usually that role isn't a stretch from who they kind of are. We're not seeing them go all Heath Ledger, the Joker. And I feel like Ryan Reynolds has just kind of been doing that. He's just been growing up on screen, being who he is. So, Soto fan, what's up, Ramon? How's it going? So that's my theory on Ryan Reynolds' whole, what would you call it? Not a discology. What is the word for an actor's resume? Not a discography. Hola. What's up, Ramon? How's it going, man? What is the word for an actor's resume? It's not, I keep thinking discography. It's definitely not cinematography. Anyways, we're going to stop at that. So back to the bombs from Deadpool and Wolverine. Not only was it a bunch of F-bombs, literally one every 30 seconds in the trailer. If you're going to watch it, keep the volume down if there's kids around or you're at work. But one, not a spoiler, even though they've called it spoiler on the website, is that the Time Variance Authority from Loki. If you didn't watch the Loki series, and this is where it gets confusing with the MCU, and in the article I linked right down below, they say you're not going to have to do homework going into this movie. But let's be honest, a lot of these Marvel movies, you have to do homework. And it's always good to have a friend who's a graphic novel enthusiast, which I have a few, so I can text them and be like, hey, what the hell is this going on? And they'll let you know. And they'll let you know. What I like is having people who can be like, you know, in the comics, it actually was like this. Or they give you the little details, like they didn't wear blue as much as it was a dark gray. I always love that stuff. And I'm not that person. I wish I was. I wish I had imbibed more, indulged more in the graphic novels of this stuff. So I got to play catch up, right? But this one I know because I watched the Loki stuff. And in Loki, they got the Time Variance Authority. It's their easy way to explain the alternate timelines. Well, I guess they're alternate universes, right? Alternate timelines have multi-characters, the 3 Spider-Men, whatever. And in the trailer, if you watch, Wolverine and Deadpool jump through one of those Doctor Strange time portal loops. So that's obviously how they're getting somebody. Deadpool to here. I don't even think, like, X-Men, were they even existing in this whole Spider-Man reality, it's hard to follow. And that's why I say, like, you kind of got to know a little bit of something. But the article I link says it's summer, no homework required, and they're trying to convince us that we don't need to know any of that. But there's going to have to be some kind of understanding, just like they're saying they're going to get Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom, into the Spider-Man universe. They can't just jump through a portal and everything's okay. We need to understand why they're jumping through a portal, what's going on with that portal. I mean, they should really just do like a little prequel to the trilogy so you can get all caught up on, like, well, and the funniest part about all this is it's just because of capitalism. It's just because companies were buying companies and owned the licensing to certain art. So they couldn't just say, like, hey, they all exist in the same world. We literally had to invent alternate, well, they were already in the comic books, but for the movie's sake, they had to invent alternate timelines and time variance authority. That should tell you all about capitalism. If you want to know how our dystopian future ends, there's going to be a time variance authority. So if you work at one company and you don't want to go, or they need you at another one, they're going to have to create an alternate timeline for you to be able to get two jobs. Oh, I look forward to the technology of the future. Get ready for your microchips, everybody. So they're going to jump through a portal and everything's going to be swell and dandy. I guess they're going to be friends with Captain America at this point. Will we see that? Will Deadpool be able to be in like a Avengers movie? Who knows? There are no rules in movies. I don't know why they have to like jump through a portal. Why can't they just all exist? Like the people who be like, here's the timeline of the Sokovia Accords, and Tony Stark, actually, this was the year Tony Stark started. It's like, who gives a shit? It's movie. It's make believe. Okay, just let Deadpool fight with Iron Man. We know he loves you 3,000 and he died. Does that matter? This is all make believe. These aren't the real people. Can we just have cool stuff on the screen with a cool story and not have to worry about how they got there? The backstory, unless it's a flashback, isn't always that important. Or maybe it is. Am I wrong? Leave it in the hit me up in the chat. Leave it in the comments if I'm totally out of line with this. And I'm sure there's some purists, some graphic novel absolutists that are like, you're ruining this art form. And if so, I'm sorry. Again, I told you, I'm a loose lover when it comes to the superheroes. I wish I knew more. My son's so into it, and I just can't give him the backstories. Okay, so let me show you, because I don't want to keep ranting on the time portal and the time variance authority and how capitalism owning different entities of comic books forced us to have to deal with people jumping, everyone having to jump through a Doctor Strange portal to get to, you know, the universe that the other Spider-Man's in. This is live. What is going on? I cannot pronounce that name, and I apologize. I'm very sorry to you, sir. Here is the image that it says, new look at Wolverine's full suit in these official busts from the Japanese lottery. Happy. Manufactured by Kotobukiya. Sorry. Deadpool and Wolverine. So I'm going to show you this image. Be prepared. Kids of the 90s. What? Why did it flip back? There we go. So that is allegedly what the Wolverine suit is going to look like. We didn't get to see that in the trailer. I don't believe. I watched the trailer. We didn't see that in the trailer. But it shows it, and I linked this article down below if you want to take a better look. Those are going to be the outfits, which that is the classic 1990s X-Men Deadpool, right? From the comics. Oh no, I don't know how to close that. So, leave me your thoughts. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys, Ramon and other person. Again, apologies, I can't pronounce that name. But there was more stuff I wanted to go into, and I'm so mad because I had something saved on Reddit to discuss, and when I went back to it, it just says, sorry, our servers are down. Is Reddit down for you? Is it? Make sure you hit subscribe. I go live every weekday, and when you hit subscribe, James, thank you. I am very sorry, James, but I appreciate you jumping up into the live chat. Sorry you came in at the end, but if you could, James, please hit that subscribe button. I go live every weekday, sometimes twice. I might go live later tonight, depending on if Reddit ever gets back online. How does Reddit go down? Reddit's like the backbone of the internet. But if you could hit subscribe and then the notification bell, so that way when I do go live, you will get notified, and you can join me and join up in the chat and just discuss the Deadpool and Wolverine bombs being dropped, F bombs in the trailer. Thank you for subbing, James. You were the man. I love that. I appreciate you. Big salute to you. Solidarity. I love when people join the family. I'm doing this every weekday, sometimes on the weekend, sometimes twice a day. I'm trying to bring you fascinating, interesting things with a unique take. Where else are you going to hear that I think Ryan Reynolds' movie career mimics his life? Van Wilder, he goes to college. The movie Waiting, both of these movies you should watch. The movie Waiting, where he talks about the restaurant industry, and it's a gritty, dirty, filthy comedy. He graduates college, Van Wilder, gets a job at the restaurant industry in Waiting. Then he marries Sandra Bullock in The Proposal. Then he becomes his first superhero, which fails. We all have a career that fails. Green Lantern. Then he becomes Deadpool. I think he's just playing himself in all of his movie roles. That's my theory on Ryan Reynolds, and that's why we love him, because he's just the real deal, the real McCoy. So James, thank you for subbing, and everybody else, if you could please hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. It would mean the world to me. And if you could pray that I get this job I'm going for, that Jesus resurrects my radio career like he resurrected himself over Easter weekend, I would be very appreciative of that. I thank you so much for joining me. There was something, oh man, I had some more notes, but I'm going to wrap it up for right now. So that's why I ask you to please hit subscribe. Thank you so much. Peace.